Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecka. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms, including Facebook and YouTube. So if you're joining from either place, please feel free to leave us a question or a comment. Hopefully I'll be able to address it all as I go through the forecast, but if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can answer anything individually for you. But let's get started here with a look at our headlines and what we're tracking out for the next couple of days. Well, through tonight, we'll see mostly clear skies for much of our evening, but then as we head towards the late overnight hours and into early tomorrow morning, we'll see another round of some clouds begin to move in, and along with that, we could get a few sprinkles through tomorrow morning, but we should stay mostly dry across the area, and we'll also cool down into the lower 40s overnight tonight, and then we really start to warm up starting tomorrow and continuing through the weekend there just in time for spring. We are tracking out another cold front there by the time we get into Sunday night, but it doesn't look like it has a whole lot of moisture with it. So outside of a few more sprinkles, we're not really expecting anything major moving in here over the next couple of days. But what that cold front will do is it's going to cool those temperatures down through the start of the work week. So back to reality for a short period of time, and then we start to warm back up above average through the middle of next week. So I'll break down all those details for you coming up here in our show. But let's start it off with a look at our radar across the U.S. We have this area of low pressure along a stationary front that's kind of parked through the Midwest and the Central Plains. That's what guided in some of those snow showers earlier this morning. Now, thankfully, once those snow showers cleared out of here, we saw a round of sunshine. So it became a beautiful spring day by the afternoon, but definitely still felt like winter for the start of the day. But I do think that was kind of winter's last dying breath for us here. And here's a longer radar loop of some of those snow showers that moves through, maybe even mixed with a little bit of sleet or rain, especially off to the southwest of Evansville. But that cleared out pretty quickly. And then along with that, the cloud cover eroded away from the northwest. So we saw a return of that sunshine through the afternoon. And right now, it's mostly clear and dry with temperatures hanging out in the upper 40s, 49 degrees there in Fairfield and Owensboro, 47 here in Evansville and Madisonville, sitting around 48 in Huntingburg and Henderson. And through the next 12 hours here, we'll notice a gradual increase in that cloud cover, primarily late in the overnight hours and then into tomorrow morning before we clear out by tomorrow afternoon. And along with those clouds, that's where we have that chance for a few sprinkles. So let me show you what that looks like here on our future radar. So the cloud cover increases overnight tonight, a few spotty rain showers possible, but again, most of us look to stay dry. And then by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, we'll start to clear out of those clouds again, and that'll set us up for a very sunny end to the work week and into the weekend. So here's a look at that forecast for our Thursday. Temperatures will rise back up above average, topping out in the upper 60s, maybe even around 70 degrees in a few spots with that afternoon sun and winds up out of the south. Those will really help warm us up just in time for spring. Now, spring, the first day is at 9:38, I believe, on Friday morning. And I do want to take some time to explain what is happening here as we turn to a new season. Well, essentially, the Earth is fixed at around 23.5 degrees. So as it rotates around the sun, there are angles that are pointed more towards the sun and away from the sun. In the wintertime, the North Pole, or the northern hemisphere, is pointed away from the sun. So that's how we cool down, we see more snow, and that's what brings us the winter season. But as it comes back around, it actually isn't really pointed towards or away from the sun, and that's what we call the vernal equinox. Equinox meaning equal night. So the first day of spring, March 20th, that's Friday at 9:46 in the morning. That is Central Daylight Time, and the center of the sun is directly above the equator. So all areas receive about 12 hours of daylight, equal day and equal night. Now, in the amount of daylight we see, the Arctic Circle will get about 12 hours, Tropic of Cancer 12, Equator 12, Tropic of Capricorn 12 hours, and the Antarctic Circle will all see around 12 hours of daylight. And then from this point on, we get more and more daylight as we go through the rest of the spring, and of course, as we head towards summer. So brighter days and warmer days are ahead of us here. For the first day of spring, temperatures are going to be topping out in the mid-70s, and then we continue to climb up into the upper 70s for Saturday, topping out maybe even in the lower 80s by the time we get into Sunday, with partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then we've got that cold front that will slide in here for Sunday night. So let me show you what that looks like on our future radar here. So the longer range European model keeps us dry through Friday and Saturday, and then that cold front moves in Sunday night. And again, it doesn't have a whole lot of moisture associated with it. It's got more of a east or west to east orientation. Typically when the cold fronts come in from the west, they have that north-south orientation that scoops up a little bit more of that moisture from the south. But in this case, we don't really have that. So we'll catch a few sprinkles there Sunday night, maybe into Monday morning, especially over western Kentucky. But then high pressure builds in through the start of next week. So that dries us back out, but it also brings that colder air with it. So it's not going to be as cold as what we saw from last weekend and into the start of this week, but it is going to bring us back down to a reality, more average temperatures expected for Monday and into Tuesday before we climb back up into the mid-60s for the middle and end of next week. And it looks like we'll even continue this warming trend. Looking at our 8 to 10 day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, much of the country, not just the tri-state, getting into some big warm-ups here. So it'll just get warmer and warmer here, at least through the next week and a half. And in terms of our weather pattern, you know, we had a very active March so far, especially that first week. We had measurable rainfall every single day. We started to become a little bit more normal and balanced with sunshine and rain, but it does look like maybe we'll end up closer to average or even slightly below average for this time of a year, especially as you get farther to the south across portions of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. They have that spot of more likely below precipitation. And it also doesn't look like we have any major weather systems expected to move in here through the next 8 to 14 days either. So looking at the hazard outlook, we're not outlooked for anything here in the tri-state, but just to our northwest, it looks like they could get into some windstorms out there across the northern plains and even out into the Great Lakes. So not too bad here, not too shabby. I'm happy to present you with this gorgeous 7-day forecast here. Again, we're looking at partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies through the next couple of days, with that warm-up taking place starting tomorrow. We'll top out in the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees and then pop back up into the mid to upper 70s here Friday and into Saturday, possibly even reaching the lower 80s in on Sunday. So we cool back down there with that cold front Sunday night, topping back out around average in the mid to upper 50s for Monday into Tuesday, and then we'll climb back up towards the mid 60s by the middle of next week, with really not a whole lot in the way of rainfall, and thankfully no snow in sight here for the next week. So that is good news for me. But let's take a look at some of your questions, see if I can answer anything for you. Lenny is in the chat saying good evening to you. Same thing with you, Cheyenne, good evening. Suzanne, couldn't believe it snowed this morning. I know. March is a crazy month. You know, we had that huge cold front that moved in here on Sunday night. We topped out in the mid 70s Sunday afternoon, and we dropped down into the upper 20s Sunday night into Monday morning, along with that threat of some severe storms. And then we had some snow on top of that, and then we've been flurrying kind of on and off throughout the day Monday and even into Tuesday before we saw another round of some of those snow showers early this morning. It was definitely chilly out there, but then we dried out. We saw that sunshine return, and it felt like spring again this afternoon. And I'm happy to say it does only get better from here as we go through the weekend. Chris says, no more cold weather. Well, we don't have any cold weather here in sight, at least nothing that's too crazily below average. You know, we'll maybe drop down into the upper 30s for our lows Monday night into Tuesday morning, but that's also right around average for this time of year. Upper 30s to low 40s is where our average lows should be. Becky says, so the days of 30 or colder are over for the year until wintertime. I would say that's safe to say. I mean, looking at all the forecast models and those temperature outlooks, we're not really expected to get below average here headed into the middle and end of the month. So I think we are good to go, at least in terms of the cold. So that is good news. And Zach is saying good evening. Good evening to you as well. But that is all the questions and the comments that I'm seeing. So I am going to hop off the live stream. I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody, stay safe, have a great rest of your night, and please get outside and take advantage of this weather, especially headed into this weekend.